Hey, it's Gabby. You're on the Simply Gabby channel. If you have been here before, you kind of know what I do already. But if you are new here, welcome to my channel, and I have this channel so I can talk about my skin condition, vitiligo, and all the things that come with it. So basically going through my life with it and how it's the same and different, and how I get through it basically, and all the things that I've learned. So it can be pretty interesting having it, so I figured I'd make this channel to help everyone who either has it, knows somebody who has it, or just want to see what it's like for someone who lives with it. So I have gotten very off track, posting every Wednesday. I haven't posted for 2 weeks, I think, and I'm sorry. I haven't posted for 2 weeks, and I'm sorry about that. Lately I've been getting like these hives, and long story short, I just don't really feel all that well, so, and half the time I have a lot of like bumps on my body, so it's pretty uncomfortable, and it's mostly just itchy, so I really didn't feel like sitting down and filming a video, but since it hasn't stopped itching, I figured it would be a waste to just not post the whole time that I'm having this. So I'm just gonna do today's video, and I'll talk about and then the video that I'm going to be shooting today is, I don't even know what I'm going to call it yet, but I'm going to talk about my insecurities with having vitiligo. So a lot of things that I don't really talk about, some things that have happened to me, some things that I normally wouldn't share, but it's probably better that I just get it out there. So I'm going to be talking a lot about those, and then I thought it would be kind of interesting just to do it at the same time that I'm getting ready, just because I do have to get ready and I have to go to work. So I figured it would be a good time to just shoot this video. So if it dies, it looks like I'm on low battery, I'll continue shooting this video later. But for now, I'm just going to get started with the first question. I saw something out the window, it was weird. Oh, actually it was my own reflection. Huh. Okay, so one of the first questions that I get asked a lot, one of the questions came from Instagram. Let me see if I can just pull it up. Her name is Kat, we'll call her. So she wants to know what kind of makeup I use. I think she has vitiligo as well. She says it looks nice, so I guess she wants to know, maybe because she wants to use it. So I use Physicians Formula, the lightest shade, LC1. It has sunscreen in it, and it doesn't have a lot of the bad stuff that regular foundations do, so that's why I picked this one. I'm not saying there's nothing bad in it, like, at all, but this was the best one that I could find. I mean, it's safe as far as I know. Like, I mean, this is the best one that I could find for me, and yeah, I'm gonna put this on because it looks like I need it. So it's a Physicians Formula. I just pick whatever shade you want. I use LC1. It's got sunscreen in it, so that's what I use. In addition to that, I use the other Physicians Formula products. I use the butter bronzer to make myself look less pale, and less like a ghost. Let me see. I had a blush. It was the butter blush. It was the same brand as this, but I broke it. It fell, so now it's in here. It's not as pink as I'd like it to be. I thought it would be nice, but it's actually not my favorite color. So if you're gonna get the butter blush, I would get the darkest shade that they have, just because you can't really see this, and it's kind of shimmery too, so, and I don't always want a shimmer, so I would just get the darker shade and see if they have it without a shimmer, but darker would be better. And honestly, for my eyeshadow, I just use the same bronzer, because I don't like glitter. I don't like a lot of color. I just don't do that with my makeup. I don't like it. I never have. So I use like nude shades, and then sometimes if I want, I don't know, if I feel like feeling frisky, I use the Physicians Formula nude palette. It's pretty dirty because I've had it for so long, but I mostly stay on this side of the palette because over there it's like really dark. So So yeah, basically this whole side is gone, but I use that. So basically I use Physicians Formula everything, and then I use a Physicians Formula mascara. I just use Physicians Formula for everything, and then I use this Burt's Bees little, like, lipstick. So, and it was $8. I mean, that was a lot, but, all of the other companies, they don't have very good ingredients in them, so that's why I chose this one. And then I use a setting spray occasionally, but I made it, so it's just like aloe vera and I forget what else, so sorry. But other than those things, that's basically what I use all the time. So, and some people ask me which color do I try to make, which color do I use for my makeup, because this is normally my skin tone, but obviously not here. Like, there's a big difference between my face and my hands and the rest of my body, so I'm not going to try to change my face back to tan, because that would take a lot of makeup, and it just wouldn't make sense, because a lot of me is white as well. So I just go with whatever color's on my face at the time. There's brown forming here and here and here, and it's just slowly creeping up my neck onto my face, but I'm just going to stick with it until the majority is brown, and then I'll change foundations, which is confusing, but and then I'll answer the last question. I didn't really get too many questions on Instagram, but somebody else, his name is Leon, so if you're watching, hello. He asked me, how do I protect myself from the sun? And basically I use Art Naturals brand. I got this off of like a couponing site, but I got it because it has like good ingredients in it, and it says it's like paraben free and gluten free, and it says it's safe for all skin types. So, and I haven't really gotten burnt when I put this on how I'm supposed to. I have gotten burnt plenty of times, but I've gotten burnt so many times. One time I was at camp and I got burnt so many times because I didn't care. I just wanted to have fun, and sitting around and taking extra time to put on sunscreen just kind of sucked the fun of everything. So I didn't feel like doing that, and then one of the counselors told me that I was too sunburnt and that I needed to put stuff on before I got like a disease or got sick or whatever happens. So after that, I mean, that was not the last instance, and it will probably still happen to me. So after that, I've gotten burnt about 7,000 more times. So, but it's a little hard because you can get burnt just from like a 5-minute outside walk. So I mean, like, just from going from the house to the car, like if you're parked really far away, sometimes you can get burnt. So it's a little hard to know like when you need it, but another way to keep yourself protected from the sun is just wear clothes and hats that can actually protect you. It's really hard to let's say I'm trying not to get burnt here, which is a really weird place to get burnt, but if for some reason this part was going to be exposed to the sun for a long time, in order to keep that from burning, I would have to keep applying and applying and applying and applying because it wears off, and this is already very like vulnerable to being burnt. So if I am not really careful and I don't keep applying it, I'm going to get burnt. So when I'm going to be outside for a long period of time, I just wear something that covers everything because it's just easier, and that way I don't have to like go through a whole bottle of this, and that way I don't have to like keep applying. So it's honestly just a hassle to keep applying, so I would just recommend covering up the best you can. I know it sucks because you want to wear like shorts and sandals and stuff, but just wear stuff that you feel comfortable in, or cover a good majority of it, or cover the most sensitive parts, and then just put sunscreen on the parts you want to show. So if you want to wear shorts and a t-shirt, that's fine, but just make sure you use sunscreen because you will regret it later when you are burnt and when you're red. So and the thing, I just wanted to talk about, I guess people have like questions when someone with vitiligo or any type of skin condition, or anything really, people have a lot of questions, and I feel like people might wonder what my biggest insecurity is, because vitiligo as a whole covers my whole body, but what in particular makes me the most like insecure. And the thing that makes me most insecure right now is my chest, just because it's like speckled, and it's kind of like one of the first places that people will see. If they're looking at your face, they can kind of see it even if they're not directly looking at it. So I feel a little insecure about that, because I feel like even if they're looking me in my eyes where they should be, they can still see it, and then they're like, they can't focus on what I'm saying because they're wondering what happened to me. And it's a little complicated to say, oh, I have vitiligo, but it's reversing itself, or my skin is healing itself, something like that. So it's a little complicated to get into all that with perfect strangers sometimes, so I just don't. So and I also use this, but this isn't like something that's like special. You can get it anywhere. I just use this mostly, and this brush. I don't have like a brush for everything, and it's really difficult. People don't understand how difficult it can be to have vitiligo, because even if you weren't like heartbroken about it, you still have to worry about sun exposure. You have to worry about which color you want to be most dominant. Like, you have to figure out what makeup. It took me years to find this makeup. I was wearing the wrong shade because I was confused as to what color I even was, honestly. So it was pretty just confusing, and it was just pretty hard to figure out what I even was, honestly. So and then that's like one of my biggest insecurities right now. And I guess the backs of my legs too, I'm just insecure about. Like, normally if I know what people see when they look at me, like when I look in the mirror, I'm like, I know what they're looking at because I can see myself. But when people are walking behind me and I'm wearing shorts, I don't know what they're looking at. So that, I don't know why, that always gets me. It probably doesn't make sense. It's probably weird, but I don't know, that gets me sometimes. And then what used to get me a lot, sometimes it still does, but it doesn't as much anymore. I have like some brown pigment left here. It fully disappeared from the rest of my face, but it stayed right here. So when I was growing up all through school, people would always give me such a hard time, like, you were drinking milk and you forgot to wipe it, and like chocolate milk, you were eating some chocolate, or you have coffee stains all over your face, stuff like that. You know how kids can be, they're kind of awful. But that was like heartbreaking to me at the time, just because I didn't even know what it was, and I didn't even know that I didn't know that it was okay to be the way that I was. And the fact that kids keep pointing out that you're not normal was really hurtful. So people would give me hard times like with that. I was like a really shy child, and even through high school, people were really rude to me, just because they didn't approve of the way I looked. I still remember up all the way through high school. It wasn't just as a child, it was all the way through high school, as a teen. Like, it would be completely random too. I'd be like working in a group project or something, and I'd be scared to show my mouth, because people would, most of the time they would just stare at my mouth when I'm talking. So I would always try to like cover my mouth with like my sleeve or something. But when I had to talk to people, that was like my worst fear, because it was like I didn't know if they were gonna embarrass me, because at any point they could decide to just like call me out on it, and a bunch of people did. Just when I thought like me and some people were like beginning to be friends, they were like, "Oh, you have chocolate milk on your lips." So yeah, that would like traumatize me at the time, and that's rude, even if it's just rude. So, and that happened, like, and this doesn't improve at all. It kind of improves since I've got a tougher shell, and since now I know what my condition is, so I can explain to people, and now I can defend myself and speak up for myself. But even to this day, I still don't know why people are the way that they are. I mean, everybody's different. I just happen to have something that I can't hide, and people take advantage of that because they want to feel like they're better, but it doesn't make them better. It just makes me feel bad occasionally. So, and it used to make me feel bad all the time. So, and I was literally like petrified by this, just because you never know, are people going to be nice today at school, or are they going to call me out on something? Are they going to embarrass me in front of the whole class? Are they going to ask me in person, like off to the side? Like, you just never know. So that was like so scary, and I guess that's what people don't understand. It's like the anxiety and the anticipation of somebody calling you out, because you never know when it's going to happen or who, but you know it probably will. So enough about that. Oh yeah, I wanted to talk about, like, if you went to school with me, you probably knew that I was like quirky, and it wasn't because I was a weird child or I didn't have proper social skills. It was just because it was like I said before, you never know when somebody's going to call you out on something, and you don't really know who's going to be nice to you and who's just going to embarrass you in front of the whole class. So, and some people didn't mean to be rude, but you can't really ask something like that about someone's appearance without it coming across as judgmental, because in almost every instance it sounds like you're judging. So all through my schooling, this went on for years, probably all the way up until I was in high school. I stopped doing the thing with like my sleeves. I would only wear long sleeves that were that would be long enough that would come up here. So when I said long sleeves, it wasn't here, it had to come up to like here, because then I would have extra fabric to cover my hands, and I would get anxiety about like writing or like doing something where someone could see my hands, which is like so crazy, because there's no instance where like somebody wouldn't be able to see, like, because at a desk you're writing, if someone looks over they could see it. So but at the time I was really worried about that. And yeah, I also use this lipstick as like blush, because the other color is a little too light for me, for my liking. So I just use the lipstick. And I think a lot of people do that, or maybe that's just me, but I use things for things they're probably not supposed to be used for. So now, let's see. Oh, I gotta do my eyebrows. Okay, I'll move on to the next question. This is a quick one, but I covered up my entire everything, like spots and everything, all the way up until age 18 or 19. So, and I'm only 21 I'm 21 right now, so that is like my entire life I was covering up because people were rude and cruel. So if you were one of those people, I remember you all. I can't find this. So if you're one of those people, it really did traumatize me at the time, but you know, I'm over it now. I still can't find it. Where's my jank? I just said jank. Sometimes I feel so awkward saying things, and I wonder if I make sense to other people, but I don't even care anymore. Okay, and something I don't tell anybody just because it might sound like weird, but as a child I was in so much denial that I just wanted to be brown again, or white. I just wanted to be one color, so I was really insecure about that. And I kind of just always held on to hope that it would be normal one day. And over as I grew older, I cared less and less, and now I don't care at all. But as a child, I always knew that my color would like have some sort. It would always come back. So I mean, I don't know if that makes me like weird or something, but I don't care. I don't know if this is doing anything. I have to stay in the frame, but of the camera, but I can't. I can't see without my glasses. I'm blind. And then let's see. Okay, one of the most embarrassing things that would happen to me was gym class. At our school, we had to wear gym uniforms. So whenever it was time for gym, you had to go to the locker room and change. And when I went to school, I was covered up. And when I came home, I was covered up. So it was like having to change. So no one knew about my skin condition until gym class. And during gym class, I was so uncomfortable. Like, I was like internally just like dying. So I just wanted so much for gym class to be over, and I for some reason thought that people wouldn't recognize me, like people wouldn't know that it was me. But then obviously that's not true. The weirdest reaction that I've ever had from somebody like noticing that I have vitiligo is obviously people stare, so that's not that weird anymore. But one time when I was in gym class in my gym uniform, we were all sitting on like the sidewalk, about to play some sort of game, and some girl that I went to school with, she just reached over and rubbed my spots like on my leg, like, and it was just so weird to this day. Like, I cringe. It was just weird. Like, you don't touch somebody that you don't know, really. There, at least. It was like on my, like, near my knee, but it was still weird. Like, I guess she was wondering if it was raised, but instead of asking, she just found out for herself, and I was just really, really uncomfortable. And then, yeah. Okay. And the meanest thing that was ever told to me, aside from like the classic animal jokes, I used to be on this like anonymous question website where I guess people would you would just have like a username and like your name, and people would know who they were asking questions to, but you could select it that people could ask questions anonymously. And then it wouldn't always be anonymous, but people, one person, I have no idea to this day who wrote it, but someone said like something along the lines of, you're so ugly, you don't deserve to like live. At the time, sorry, my camera died. Actually, it didn't even die. I don't know why it did that. At the time, it was really hurtful, but I don't really understand that one at all. Because I would never say that to anybody, so I don't really get why anybody would say that to anyone. So that one doesn't really hurt me. I mostly find it bizarre that someone would take time out of their day to tell somebody something like that. So if you're watching this, I just hope you have a better attitude, honestly.